watching us here on a very special episode of the CNBC-TV18 Weekender. I travel all the way to Bangalore to speak to Vivek Gupta, the MD and CEO of United Breweries, a little over a year after he's taken over at the helm of the company. Thank you so much, Vivek. Thank you for choosing to spend Diwali with us. Wish you and your team a very happy Diwali.
Oh, thank you, and thank you for having me. Wish you a very happy Diwali and prosperous New Year.
I wanted to understand if you could sum up your learnings of the industry that have happened in the last 1 year, because it's very interesting, you know. Everything is counterintuitive. Beer is supposed to be had in hot weather. India is a hot country, but still it's just 20% of the market as against globally 50%. What have your learnings been?
I think my learning is it's a highly underpenetrated category and it's a huge potential. My second learning is beer is different from alcobev.
Okay.
I think when we combine beer and alcobev, I think we dilute the magic of beer. The beer is all about creating connections, about moderation in alcohol. Beer is very local as compared to so there is a huge opportunity in beer. The other big learning is highly regulated category. So one of our key customers are government and regulators, and we need to bring them on the journey on how beer actually helps farmers, local employment, and that's why I'm very, very excited on the opportunity we have in front of beer.
If you could give us a sense of, you know, how underpenetrated is beer versus all the other spirits, and what is the potential market size out here?
If people drink 10 times a year, any alcobev, let's say beer, spirits, wine, vodka, whatever you add to that, there's only 2 times out of 10 they actually drink beer. Even if we double the share of incidence from 2 to 4, you have a huge market which is ready to explode. So today there are almost 400 to 450 crore cases of beer which sell every year. This can actually double by just improving the share of incidence and making sure that people stick to the category for longer.
Now the difficult question, what are you doing to ensure that this becomes 450 to 900?
Yeah, I think there are 3 big barriers in beer, as I understand. I think number 1 barrier is affordability.
Right.
Beer is very expensive. In fact, it is, if you go overseas, the price of beer could be even cheaper than water. But in India, the beer is very expensive, and the big factor there is taxation on beer. You know, as compared to, spirits is very high in certain states. The second is availability of beer.
Right.
You know, we know that in the tier 2, tier 3 towns, the beer is less available because beer is sold when it is cold. So for us, we are actually significantly increasing the number of coolers we are going to deploy in the stores.
Right.
We are going to triple the number of coolers, and our vision is that every single store which sells beer, there should be a cold fridge of Kingfisher or Heineken or Amstel of our brand.
So you have around 80,000 stores in the country that sell alcohol?
Yeah, there are around 102,000 stores which sell beer.
And of which, how many are on trade, how many are off trade, how many have Visi coolers, how many don't have Visi coolers?
So our last data is only 20,000 stores have branded coolers.
Okay.
And we want to take it to 60,000 in the next 2 years.
And
then
how
get
much
to
does
100,000.
one Visi cooler cost, the installation of
It depends. We are actually looking at new technologies which can keep the beer cooler than, at -2 degrees centigrade, and that costs around 65 to 70,000 rupees to install a Visi cooler.
For every 70,000 that I spend on a Visi cooler, what is the expected return, increase in sale?
You know, the stores which have Visi coolers, the category grows around 2% more than the stores which don't have Visi coolers.
Okay.
So we have done our back of envelope CAD, but the way we look at it is a long-term investment to build category.
Right.
And the on-premises, around 26,000 outlets. We really want to make sure people try the beer, they have more fun. We are investing in activities. We sponsor IPL. So we are engaging with the young consumers. And the last one is we know that beer consumption drops with age.
Right.
So we are also looking at our communication and innovation program.
You've also announced one of your biggest launches, which is Amstel Grande. I wanted to understand what's the opportunity here, what proportion of your revenue comes from premium right now, and what's your internal target?
I would say that over the last few months, we have done detailed consumer work to really understand what are the needs of consumer.
Right.
And that's where all our innovation is based on a consumer insight. And for example, the Queenfisher, which we launched as a premium beer, was based on a simple insight that the beer penetration in women is very small. And then we asked some of our women brewers to actually design the beer which they would like. And then we actually had a product based on that insight. Similarly, Amstel Grande is going to be one of our best beer in the premium strong segment. This is one of the beer which is designed for India, but it has international credential. The whole claim is the slowly brewed beer.
How big can it be?
Oh, it can be the biggest premium brand in the category.
So which is the biggest premium brand in the category right now? What is the rough market for that?
Yeah, I would say that the total premium size, premium category is around 17 to 18% of the beer segment to really do that. Our competitors have some of the big brands like Budweiser, Magnum, and
how big would that be according to you, roughly back of the envelope?
Around 35 to 40 million cases.
And this has the potential of being that.
Yeah, this could be a potential. I would say that segment is 35 to 40, but this has a potential over years to be one of the biggest brand in the whole segment.
How many years? Because right now you're just in Mumbai, and I think over the next couple of years you plan to get to 60 to 70% of the country.
It depends on the production footprint and the success and the learnings we get from the first launch.
Right.
There is a registration process, there's a pricing process in the part, there's a local production. But more importantly, we think over the next 4 to 5 years, this would become one of our biggest brand in the premium segment.
Overall market is 17 to 18%. What proportion of your revenues come in from premium, and where would you like to take that?
See, our goal is that we would like the premium to be at least 20% of our business. Currently, it's around 8 to 10% of our business. So we want to double our premium business over the next 2 to 3 years. We're not only accelerating the category growth, but we're also growing within the segment, and we are growing consumers in the premium as well.
Since you're talking about gaining share, could you give us an updated share that you have across major markets, say South, North, East, West, and where are you expecting that to head?
Like we are around 48, 49 share in the total market. But it varies by state. In states we are growing, in some states we are not growing shares.
Karnataka was an issue. You are now back above 50% in Karnataka?
No, we are not yet. Our latest shares are close to 45, 46 in Karnataka.
And you intend to get to 50%?
See, I think, as I said, our number one focus as a company is to be the category maker, not the category taker.
Right.
So our number one focus is the category growing fast enough? Are we bringing everything which is required to grow the category?
With all that you're doing and with all the launches that you're coming about, the overall volume growth is just 5%. And you in the conference call itself, and I quote you, said that you are happy with it, but you're not proud of it.
Yes.
Your expectation is a lot more than just 5%.
Right.
What is that expectation?
What impacts the category, and why I said that I'm not very proud of it, is the impact of regulatory in certain states. Like West Bengal is a great example, where category was actually booming. And then recently, the state government increased the duties on beer, which was already very high. So the affordability of beer became a big challenge, which has slowed down the category growth, and then it impacts the volume growth, not only for us, but for the industry. So there are states who are actually increasing the duties on beer and making beer less affordable. That really discourages the volume growth on the beer.
I mean, there is a principle in economics called the Laffer curve, where as the tax rate increases, the revenue increases only up till a certain point. Thereafter, an increase in tax rate means that maybe counterfeit goes away or consumption reduces, and as a result of which the total revenue that the government generates reduces. Have you had conversations?
So look, I think I'm pretty sure there are smart people who are running the government and their exercise are doing on that. I would say that there are 3 big areas we are focusing on. Number one is, don't club beer with all alcobev. Do we want the youngsters and the young India who's coming to this category to drink highly, very high alcohol beverages or country liquor, or do we really want them to have moderate consumption and beer and have more socialization versus getting, again I was saying, getting drunk drinking it to get drunk. Of course, we understand that a lot of governments also have their own budgetary pressures, but we are also trying to collect the data, share the data, consistently engage with them. We have seen some positive shoots. So for example, in Assam, when they increased the duties and the similar impact happened, the government rolled back some of the duties back in August, and we are seeing the categories coming back to that. So we are using the one case study and sharing the data with the others. We are consistently engaging. So we have states where we actually grew double digit, and we have states where we declined because of this impact. And that is why I'm a bit disappointed, because the category is up for growth, and we just need to collectively work. The impact of regulations on our business, during the election time, as I mentioned, it was around 4 to 5 points of growth we lost because of the disruptions. this quarter also, because of some of these weather and changes is there. So I think category can grow double digit if there is more collaboration and there is more intent on the programs. It can grow double digit.
On barley, let's address that first. The prices have been fairly volatile. Do you see some moderation coming in or some stability coming in barley prices right now? And secondly, what is it that you're doing structurally to ensure long-term availability of barley at a relatively more stable price?
One of the big initiatives which I'm really proud of is we are actually working with farmers in Rajasthan, in Haryana, in Punjab, even in UP now, where the barley is getting produced, to actually increase the area which is sown under barley. We're also doing a lot of work with the universities like Punjab Agriculture Universities, ICAR, with some of the professors to really understand, what is the best quality of seeds we can have on barley.
Right.
So in the long term, our plan is to actually have more backward integration, really work with farmers, which really help them.
How much is it right now, and what is your aspiration?
So right now, we work with around 10,000 farmers. Our goal is to get to 50,000 farmers by, in the next 1 year.
In terms of your procurement, how much do those 10,000 farmers contribute? And
so our current procurement is only 8 to 10%, which is coming from locally from those farmers.
Right.
But we also work with other farmers who don't directly work with us only to really procure it. Our 70 to 80% of procurement is local. We still have to import it, 15 to 20% of barley. And this is a huge opportunity for us, because our analysis show that if we put our minds to it, India can be actually the net exporter of barley in years to come.
So you target self-sufficiency in barley by when?
See, our goal is to actually be self-sufficient in next 7 to 8 years. But there is a lot of intent on this area with the government. So that's one key area. But in the short term, I think the commodities will remain volatile. The second big thing you talk about is the glass prices.
Right.
I think for us, the biggest cost element is also the return bottles. And that is something which I really think will make or break the economics for us.
Break the economics of a glass bottle for you. Say a glass bottle costs X for you.
Yeah.
How many times do you try and reuse it? What is your proportion of return bottles right now, and how much more does it cost for you to introduce a new bottle into the system?
Yeah, I think roughly a new bottle costs around 17 to 18 rupees per bottle.
Okay.
And the total system cost of a return bottle is around 7 to 8 rupees. Now, we of course have very strong quality processes in place. So we are not fixated that whether we have to use the return bottle 5 times, 8 times. Our average is it can use 4 to 5 times.
Got it.
Our current return rate is somewhere between 65 to 70% depending on the state. Pre-COVID, this number was closer to 80%. And that's one of the area we are consistently working on, because we also remember that this also creates employment.
From pre-COVID to now, a lot of alcohol consumption has become at home as against restaurants. Restaurants obviously have a better way to return those bottles as against consumption at home. If you could give us an impact on that. And what is your target here from, say, 70%, where do you intend to take it in the very near future?
Yeah, I would say there are many factors. One of the big factors is exactly as you said, that in-home consumption versus the consumption on the bar. But again, I'm saying this is something which we can raise the awareness campaign, and there's a lot of work which municipal corporations are doing in collecting waste. So our problem is more in big cities and in specific states. So I think it's pretty much it's quite manageable. See, we really want to improve this to 75%. But this year we are able to improve by 1 point only, 1 or 2 points. But it's a consistent battle.
A percent in return bottles, percent increase in return bottles improves your EBITDA margin by how much? All things being equal.
I've not done the EBITDA math. But it does help our gross margins by close to, I think, 0.2, 0.3 points to do that.
So net, what is your margin target? Let me ask you this.
Yeah, see, I think, look, there are two things. Our target is to really drive double-digit revenue growth significantly and be the category maker.
Got it.
And I think, we have internal targets, but there is a glide path on the margin. But of course, we should expect consistent.
What's the end goal on the glide path?
I think we should be in the range of 10 to 12% margins.
Over the next foreseeable future?
Over the next 5-6 years, 4-5 years, gradually. We should work towards that. But right now, the focus is on
double-digit
growth with consistent margin improvement. So I would rather improve 60, 70 basis point of margin every year. If I'm going too high on margins, probably, I have to ask the question, is the beer affordable?
Right.
Am I actually giving that, everything what I've talked about to be a category maker here?
All right, that's incredible. What we'll do is we'll take a short break, come back, and then we continue our conversation with Vivek Gupta. Welcome back. We're still in conversation with Vivek Gupta of United Breweries. Vivek, what do you quantify or what do you see as the revenue mix for your organization, say 5 years from now, geographically, state-wise, and say, premium, mass, and the new brands that you have?
I think our goal is to drive the category growth year on year. The size of the category should be much bigger than what it is should be there.
So it's 450 crore cases right now?
Yeah.
How much do you expect it to be?
I think our goal is to get this to a 600 to 700 crore category. So we need to also make sure that the production is lined up by the players to do that.
Have you lined up any production? Because currently you are nearly double the other two players when it comes to factory presence, when it comes to presence in all the states, etc. as well. Have you lined up any capex?
So while we have the highest number of breweries, there are some states where we are full on capacity.
Right.
Like whatever we produce, we can sell. So we have plans on expanding capacity in states like Telangana is one state where we have
low gross margin market.
And that's why we are working with the government on viability of the business, but at the same time the potential is huge. We are also looking at states like West Bengal, where we don't have premium presence.
Very low. Yeah.
Very low, to really improve our production capacity, because whatever we have, we produce and we sell that. We are looking at states like Madhya Pradesh, where we don't have our own factory. We are really looking at, and our shares are very low. We are only 15 share in Madhya Pradesh versus 50 share in the country.
Right.
So we are working with our local partners, but we are also looking at options to invest and expand,
Do you have a budget on how much you are looking at in terms of capacity investment?
Look, we have a very aggressive plan. I can only tell you that right now my issue is not how much money I need. My issue is the ability to execute the money I have. Because every change in the brewery, even to repair or maintenance, you need excise approval. Our plan is to invest at least 2x to 3x of the capital what we have invested in the last 2 to 3 years. You can do the math.
All right. Andhra, how much did that account for your overall volumes in the earlier regime? And now that their earlier regime is back, how much do you expect to get from here?
At the peak of the season and versus what we do 1/3 of what we were doing at the peak.
Okay.
Season. But I know that we don't want to be lethargic about it. We don't want to be complacent about it.
So Andhra can be 3x of...
Oh yeah, I think it can be 3x of our current potential. But we can't be complacent. We really need to make sure.
How much is Andhra as a proportion of your volumes, even at 1x right now?
I would say 3%, 4%, 2 to 3%. So it can be a substantial increase.
So it can be about 6-7%. While everyone else grows and Andhra grows at a substantial pace from here.
Substantial pace on this. So we right now are making sure that we have the right portfolio. We are making sure that we work with the government, because one of the biggest issue in Andhra is from old regime, you call it, or old time to new time. The taxation has increased significantly on beer.
Okay.
In fact, the net realization is lowest for us in Andhra. So even the taxes are heavier than some of the other states.
Why is it that beer is taxed at par with spirits when alcohol proportion in beer is a lot lower? And all the alcohol is taxed on the volume basis, where beer is a lot lighter. Why is it that has happened?
I'm asking the same question. Thank you for being, I'm confused why is that. I actually think I would put the blame on us. Probably we as a company and as a beer industry, we haven't, have advocated for this taxation.
But has no state ever tried doing it on the proportion of alcohol? I remember Haryana putting out something.
So there are a couple of states who did it, and they can see the different level
What's
of
the
growth
delta
rate.
there?
I have seen that there are states where beer growth, when the taxes was more in line with the part, is significantly higher than what was not there. And when the taxation has increased, say in Maharashtra,
right,
for example, in the last few years, and the delta has increased between beer and spirits, the category has slowed down significantly as compared to what it used to be.
Globally, Heineken has earmarked India as one of their priority markets. Is it the priority market in the region? Is it the priority market in the world? Given their optimism, I'm sure they would like to, up the ante in India.
As you mentioned, for Heineken globally, India is, if not the most important, but amongst the top 3 priority countries in the world. So it is definitely on that radar.
Are they willing to up their stake further?
I don't know that investing in India is only about upping the stake, but it's about the capability to really do that. I think our focus is to the investments which have been there. There is definitely a return for those investments to start with, but also continuously invest in growing the category. We are very confident that there is a global support. The Amstel Grande is a great example.
Right.
Heineken Silver, which has done extremely well in Southeast Asia, China, and one of the growth story, we are expanding Heineken Silver. Right. We recently opened up our plant on producing Heineken in Karnataka. We are further going to expand the footprint of Heineken brand in the country.
Earlier in the many conversations that we had, you said Heineken is very underpenetrated. We want Heineken's contribution to increase. So where are we on that?
So I think first of all, we are producing locally in Heineken in 4 locations. Yes. And we have just started launch in Karnataka. We have a very good footprint in Goa, Maharashtra, Mumbai, and we are also planning to expand the footprint.
Okay.
Now, growth rate on Heineken Silver in Goa is 67%.
Got it.
So it's definitely growing very, very fast.
But it's on a very small base as well. Right?
Yeah, but we have a sizable share now of Heineken in the states where we have launched. It continues to grow. It's one of our big bet in the premium segment. So as I talked, as we have aspiration to be the market leader on premium and to have premium as almost 20 to 25% of our business.
Right.
The Amstel, Heineken, and our domestic premium brands Ultra and Ultra Max will play a significant
So if
role
you
on that.
had to break down that 20% into how much should come from Heineken, how much do you expect from Amstel, how much do you expect from your local brands already, how would that be? 50% from local brands, 5%?
I think it would be around 60-40 because
60 from the local and
Ultra and Ultra Max are doing extremely well.
Yes.
They have been in the country for more than 10 years. And then, as I said, Amstel and Heineken, they'll fight for which will be the biggest brand. But I think our Amstel footprint will be faster than our Heineken footprint.
And Amstel will be produced locally as well?
Yeah, absolutely. In our current breweries, we have the technology to produce Amstel.
Could you share some experience in the past where you believe that you made a serious difference for one to understand the resilient sterner stuff?
Look, I think it's not it's a difficult experience. It's a lot of a learning experience.
Right.
I'm a father of a special need autistic child, and I think we are very blessed to have him. And I think it was a great experience as a parent because it changed your life. Because you have when you have special need kids.
Right.
You really need to make them, really work with them so they are successful. But at the same time, it gives you a lot of patience, resilience, priorities, on what you do and what you don't do. And I think to me, that has been one of the things which has really made us better people.
Right.
And what are the things to chase and what are the things not to chase.
Very personal to me as well, and I completely relate with that. My own brother is a special child, so obviously I completely connect with what you are talking about out here, how they make you a lot better as people. And I'm jealous of you for one thing. You've met Roger Federer twice?
Yeah, I have. It was in Australia when thanks to PNG when I was in. He was one of the ambassadors for Gillette.
Wow.
And we did organize a couple of events with him. I have a privilege of actually with one of my colleagues to actually drop diapers. For Mika, when they came to Australia, we were selling Pampers. He's a fantastic person, a huge role model.
And when was the second time you met him?
Again in the Australian Open, and he remembered when we met him first time. So he invited to actually join for his final game as well.
That's incredible. What song do you think would describe you best?
Yeah, I would say a couple of them. I think one is my favorite was "Don't Worry, Be Happy." And then the second one was during my young days during school days was Kadam Kadam Badhai Ja, खुशी के गीत गाए जा, ये जिंदगी है कौम की, कौम पे लुटाए जा. So I think
You want to sing that as we end the show?
no, I think you know.
Vivek, thank you so much. This has been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you for watching.